gentlemen, I just want to remind you that we actually have an email list and we would love you to join us. If you want to sign up, go to www.thewizardandthepriestess.com and find your sign up button. Join us today. Hello and welcome to The Wizard and the Priestess. I am Nola and this is Matt.
Hello.
Whee!
I didn't know we were talking like this.
I thought I might talk like this today. Just because.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Suit you.
Well, welcome everyone. Hope you had a good day. Hope you're having a good week. We are nearing the end of the year.
Yes. And coming into the, we're going off on that Aquarius age.
Well,
Good time to shed stuff that doesn't serve you. So today we are going to talk about arguably the most dangerous thing in this experience. Can you guess?
Santa?
Maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Arguably the worst thing.
Maybe it's hippopotamuses
Could be.
or mosquitoes. Beliefs.
Dun, dun, dun.
Insert music. Beliefs would be, without doubt, the most dangerous thing in our experience because our beliefs essentially navigate us through life. So what are some common beliefs that you see / deal with / have maybe?
In the most common belief in the under 7 would be Santa.
Discuss.
Or just that it is a mythical creature.
Wait, what?
A being that has been curated to be believable, to be real, and to essentially exert action.
Do you know where Santa comes from?
I feel like there's a few different trains of thought. My knowledge is that essentially it came from Coca-Cola, who...
The marketing guys at Coke?
Yeah.
Coca-Cola.
At Coca-Cola that wanted to make it a drink that people drank even in the cold. And so they invented a red and white man who... And then there's obviously the Saint Nick who did give gifts to the poor. And then obviously, I mean, maybe Coca-Cola did, but the actual Santa today is the Santa that comes...
Santa's on the Christmas cards.
Yes, he comes down the chimney on the 24th and gives the children gifts if they're good.
Is it coal if they're not?
Coal if they're not.
Right.
So there's a nice little bribe in there.
Yeah.
Nice bit of pressure from every parent, making sure that they are providing the child with gifts. And you know what? My kids know Santa's not real. Sad. I've been told by family members when my daughter said, when they asked her, how was your Santa, like, what's Santa? And she responded with, Santa's not real. And they responded with, that is sad. So sad that she doesn't think Santa's real.
Perspective, isn't it?
Totally, but that is belief, right?
It is. I remember when I found out, I was really angry at Dad.
Oh, yeah, so was I. Hence why I'm not doing it.
But he kept saying, he didn't give me a straight yes or no. It was but this, but that, but then this, and then, but now it's this and that, and
okay.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, my mum always said, if you want to believe, it's believable. And I'm like, yeah, but who puts the presents under the tree? Is it Santa that puts the presents under the tree? And she said, well, no. And I said, is it you? She's like, yes. And my
Web of lies.
little heart broke. I think it doesn't matter whether you choose to play out Santa or not. You can do it in very conscious ways, but I don't know that. And so personally, I don't do the thing because I don't really want... Well, and that's the thing. My child knows Santa's not real, but she still is like, yeah, okay, and on Christmas I want presents and I want this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, Christmas is about giving.
Yeah. You know the concept of reindeers flying? Do you know where that came from?
Oh no, tell me about
That's a
that. Okay.
shamanism.
They
That's a
had
shaman story.
reindeers. Oh,
They do have reindeers up there,
where?
up North Pole.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
what's
they
it called?
do.
Like where?
The Arctic Circle.
Arctic, yeah.
Yeah.
And some of these shamans were wearing red,
Yeah.
and they had some special mushrooms,
Uh-huh.
and they had a bit of a trip, and they saw
Flying reindeer.
flying reindeer. That's where the
Yeah,
concept comes
right.
from. So it's actually a pagan thing.
Reindeers flying,
Reindeer, yeah.
or yeah, it's interesting how we just pull those things together and create a belief, and then we're like, oh yeah, those all fit together. That's good enough for me now.
But we can save that for the Christmas episode we do.
Oh yes.
We can destroy
Oh,
everyone's joy, take away the magic.
don't call it that. Like I've had friends tell me that. They're like, oh, but if you don't believe in Santa, then you can't believe in unicorns and fairies, and they can't have any sort of imagination. And I'm like, they can have every sort of imagination, but I'm not going to curate it. And that is my perspective on, like, I'm not going to pretend something's real when it's actually me lying to you and saying that this thing happens, but actually I'm doing it.
I think there's a way you can do it to keep the magic, but still act it out.
Yeah.
And to say we're actively telling a story.
Yeah, fully. And that's exactly what we do. We do the play of it. We make it a game. And it's hard though, because when you're around other little children, everyone believes. So then you want to believe what your friends believe.
Mm.
And then I'm at home saying, it's not real, but we can absolutely play it out. We can read the stories and we can enjoy the time and we can focus. And I think my thing is, I actually don't like the idea of Santa Claus. I don't want to focus on what Santa is about. Santa is not about Christmas.
Mm.
Santa is another depiction of something that happens at Christmas. Christmas to me is about being grateful for what we have, sharing time together. More like, I guess, a Thanksgiving is Christmas to me.
Mm.
And so that's the message that I want to instill in my children, that that's what they are focused on.
Mm.
And that they can still have so much fun. And there is so much magic. And this is what actually bothers me, is that what is magic is real. Like, we are magical beings.
Yeah.
Stardust
We'll
particles.
do a show on that.
That is magic.
Yeah.
That is better and bigger than any made up thing, belief.
Yeah.
That you actually just lie about.
Yeah.
Really.
So
I mean, you can cross me on that, but I feel very strongly.
I didn't pick that at all. Very passive I got there. So what's a belief for you?
A belief isn't a belief a group of thoughts that are replayed over and over and over, that they become a truth.
Yeah.
For the
For
person
me, it's just a thought you keep thinking.
A thought you keep thinking.
Because
Okay.
it gets momentum, and as that momentum builds, it becomes, let's call it crystallized. As it becomes crystallized, it becomes real for you. So I think that if there was a technical definition, it's be lived. That's being lived. That's the belief
Oh yeah.
definition.
Mm.
So this topic it's really important, because how many people's belief serve them?
Yeah.
All the way from parenting to religion to relationships to relationship with self, all of these things that not only not serve you, but they don't serve the relationships you're in. They don't serve the community you're in. So it's a real shame that we don't really go into that in our schooling. But one thing that I see a lot of is, I guess, the internal debate of what's true versus the truth. So for you, what's the difference with that?
Well, the truth is universal, and what's true is your perspective on what that universal truth is.
So what's a universal truth? Is it apart from Santa?
that we are specks of stardust sent here from alien beings.
I thought you were going to say reindeer can fly.
I was tossing up between what
Yeah,
I was going to
fair.
say there, in truth.
It is a tough choice.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to know because it's funny. Recently, a family member of mine got her eyes done. Does that make sense? Got new lenses. Got the
LASIK
LASIK
surgery. Yeah.
And so she was describing what she used to think was colour to what colour is now. And she's like, initially when she was, because she had one eye done after the other, and she's like, oh, I'm just waiting for this eye to adjust because what's green looks blue and what's blue is purpley.
Mm.
And then now she's got the two eyes done. She's like, oh, what I thought before was green is actually blue.
You're right.
And like her colour actually was being manipulated somewhat because of what her eyes were doing. And then I think of that yellow and gold dress.
On the internet.
What colour was it?
I can't remember.
Well, it
I
was
don't
either
remember
blue
seeing
or
it.
black,
Yeah, I can't remember.
or yellow and white and gold.
Trying to look it up.
You can look it up. I know because I've done it many times. But my eyes only ever saw.
What do I look at?
Search
Blue and gold dress.
blue and black dress.
Blue and black.
I always saw white and gold, and that is apparently because my mind sees shade. What colour is the middle?
The middle one, yeah, white and gold.
What's the one on the left?
Blue and black.
Oh, okay. So you see blue and black.
Yeah.
So show me that. Yeah, on the left it's white and gold.
That?
Yeah, it's white and gold.
Is it?
The one in the middle I see is more white and gold, like prominent white and gold. But the one on the left also white and gold to me. But it actually is blue and black.
Is that a filtered lens thing? Or is that me interpreting that?
It's you interpreting it. Because I interpret that as there's a shade. There's a shadow.
There,
on the left.
So the blue one you see...
I see that as white and gold. It looks white.
So what do you see that as?
That's white and gold too, but it's like brighter. Do those pictures
You
look...
honestly see that as white?
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you? What about that one? It's like to me, that's a deeper blue.
Okay, no. So that to me is whatever. I don't know what's the bit. Okay, what's the bit that's white?
The lighter for
yeah,
you.
what's the lighter part? Is that blue or black?
Blue.
Okay, so the lighter part in that picture is white, and the black part to me is like a dark gold.
I think you know someone.
So that on the right there, that lady, she's wearing blue and black.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I see blue and black. Everything else is white and gold. Have we never done that before?
That's a perfect example of why nothing, in beliefs, thoughts, everything included, there's nothing that's just black and white.
No.
Or black and blue. Or white and blue. Or whatever the fuck
gold.
we're talking about.
I told you.
Yeah.
So I think what I've understood, because I realised, because that was the thing, the girl who bought the dress wanted a white and gold dress, but she got a blue and black dress, and she's like, I didn't order these colours.
What colour is that leaf?
Green.
Yeah.
It's because of the way that I saw it. So what I
What do
was
you call
trying
that?
to share,
Colour.
green.
Green. Okay.
Is it green?
I see green. I'm actually deciding what's
gonna
real
do
and what's
this.
not now.
So this is the thing. I see the
What
world
have you started?
in a different way.
Clearly.
I'm surprised that you don't too.
Well, I see it in a different way.
No, don't. Do you see it in the way
Just
that...
because you can't see colours properly.
Anyway, it's quite an interesting thing because what
is
it was that
I know there was a shoe one
my
too.
mind decided that there must be a shadow on that picture. And therefore, because the shadow was on there, the blue became white
So
and
you're
the black
projecting
became gold.
yourself onto the dress.
Totally. So what is the truth? Well, that was obviously... It is a depiction of that picture too. Because
So
once I saw the dress, it was blue and black. But in the picture on the computer, it was white and gold. So it wasn't once the dress was like actually on the person. It was in... Well, it could have been, right? Like imagine that were the case. Like, no, it's that particular picture that
Right.
made it seem like to some people
Yeah.
that there was a shadow. Anyway,
Right.
that's pretty cool. So
It is
this
pretty cool.
really comes back to that belief, or like, here's the thing.
But then
What is the universal truth then?
exactly? I think it's individual
There's always an individual truth.
because you're perceiving it.
So then what is the difference between true and what's truth?
Well, the example I would give for that is what's true is what you experienced. Let's say I step on your shoe, right?
You stepped on my shoe.
Yes. You give me the shit, so I've had enough.
Okay.
You ate the last cookie. Not having it. Stepped on your shoe. But what's the truth as to why I did that? Did I
That feels.
I purposely step on your shoe?
Of
Did I
course,
walk
you stepped on my shoe
Did I
purposely.
walk past and just step on it and your foot happened to be there? Did I slip and fall? Did someone pay me to do it? There's 400 reasons
So
why
then
I
we
could have stepped
ask
on
you, and you say, "Yeah, you ate the last cookie, so I stepped on your shoe." I'm not even wearing shoes, Matt. So you just walked over.
Well, I'm not wearing a dress,
You
so
walked over to my shoe in the corner and stepped on it.
just by itself.
And it accidentally, it just fell.
That's my truth.
All right, well,
I saw your shoe over there in the corner. I thought, nah,
This shoe.
that
Step on
backfired
that.
spectacularly.
Well, I mean,
Good versus bad.
Okay. Well, that's very perspective way.
Exactly. That
So
was
are
wrong.
we getting to the point of that
I
all
don't know.
beliefs are
I'm still stuck on the
a
dress.
all beliefs are
All beliefs are made up
form
of
of
thoughts.
perspective.
All the thoughts are
made up
perspective.
perspective,
Yes.
personal perspective. So therefore, there is no universal truth. I thought the yin and yang was a universal truth. Well, you know what? There is a universal truth.
There's
The
a
sun will
universe.
go up in the morning and it'll set in the afternoon.
What if you're in high Scandinavia?
Still happens.
It's happening around the world, but not for you.
Still happens.
In the 24/7 dark.
Well, there is a lightening.
Yes. What? Say North Pole. If we want to be difficult.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
Got
the
me
sun.
stumped.
The sun rises every day, especially for us at this
Altitude.
altitude. This altitude of about
Longitude.
40 meters.
You reckon we're 40 meters?
Nah, I reckon 20.
Yeah.
30. Anyway,
We go down. We
digress.
go under in a tsunami. There.
yeah, I reckon be safe here.
Up here.
Yeah,
Up in the penthouse.
I've
You
I've scoped it. I'm ready for tsunamis, zombie apocalypses,
So we're safe.
Yeah.
Is that your truth or the truth?
the universal truth.
Fuck. All right. Good. I'll
Um,
stay here for a bit longer.
Sun setting.
Sunset.
So the sun does rise. We know that. However, if you're living up in those areas, even if it does get lighter, the sun itself, you do not physically see the sun. So it's not happening for you. So if you were early man,
You would move far away from that place because 24-hour darkness is death.
right? So it would be potentially scary, or you might not even know there was a sun for a brief period.
Oh yeah.
It's like the sun
Went to sleep.
just goes to sleep. But that goes into what's good and bad because it's the same kind of thing. Some people love sunny weather, so it's good. Some people see the rain as bad. I know someone who I can't remember the name of it, where your mood is dependent on the weather. That she actually gets depressed while it's raining. It's called something, but that's what it is.
We're pendants. Weather dependents.
So that's not bad. That's not bad. Let me rain down on that. Yeah.
All right. So she's got we're pendants, and therefore it's okay.
Yeah. So when it's sunny, she's really happy, but when it's raining, she's like all but depressed.
Oh, that's really hard. So do you think you can change that belief? Do you think that's a belief? Do you think that is the truth?
There'd be
that
some
she
kind of
has
association
with it.
with it.
Totally. So therefore, it is not truth in such. It's truth right
It's her
now.
truth. Yeah, her truth. So that's what I'm saying. Who decides what good or bad is?
You do.
But then where do you learn that from?
Your parents and society and the environment you grow up in.
And religion.
That's the environment.
Okay.
Society, also society.
Yep. So that's the same with right and wrong.
Totally.
So when people say, oh, is that the right thing to do?
You never know.
Does it work for you? Is it serving you? Is that the...
You know what? I truly... Go, sorry.
No.
I was thinking about that in terms of religion, and I was reading about... Someone mentioned to me about how they were going to read the Bible, and I was like, yeah, you know what? There's like the Quran and the Bible and all these things, these holy books have been written with the intention of what you just shared in that. Might not be right or wrong, but is it for your highest good, and is it going to not do bad to others? I feel like that is what the basis of all religion wants to get across.
I mean, the basis of all religions is essentially do to others as you'd have them do unto you, which would be you want good things to happen to you, right?
Right.
There
So
you go.
in that sense, yeah, it's a beautiful human thing to have these sort of sets of examples that give us an idea that allows us to feel safe and secure in making the right decision in order to ensure that we're going to support the people around us.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I don't know, I guess there is a bit of a movement back towards this, and it's quite an interesting topic online about, so before it was all about, the alternate woman would be into crystals and spirituality and yoga, and she'd be vegan, and she'd be like a whimsical goddess, right? And she would be a girl boss, and she'd be like, flamboyant and showing herself off on, say, whatever media space she was. She was powerful, right? Like what's that goddess that's really like powerful and burns everything down?
I just got a vision of an X-Men, but I don't know which one.
Okay, not X.
Not-
Yeah, okay.
not in that sense.
Anyway, and then nowadays the kind of alternate woman is more a homesteading wife. She's like the caretaker of her family. She's cooking sourdough. She's not necessarily like in her glow up era. She's more in her home, cooking and cleaning and tending to her family, and like religious, like quite religious, and and that is essentially the more alternate option. Moving away from the witch and towards the the male, masculine, feminine, like the
It's more traditional
roles of the home keeper. Anyway, it's quite an interesting thing as to how that's transitioned, but it's almost like we went through this phase of spiritual opening, and then we went, oh, actually, this actually serves, like the magnetism of the masculine and feminine. And that is essentially depiction in the Bible and the Quran and things like that, where the woman is sort of submissive, might be too big a word, but submissive to the masculine. And we can see that in a really beautiful interplay of the masculine and feminine and how they have their roles and move together. But anyway.
So a lot of people will interpret that feminine to be submissive. Let's say feminine to be submissive. They're going to interpret that as females being submissive. Is it females, or is it the feminine polarity being submissive?
Yes.
Because it's which one? The feminine polarity.
Well, the feminine polarity, though, if you are talking to I would say feminine polarity, but if you're talking to a man and a woman.
No, I was going to say a lot of people are going to interpret that as man, woman, but you're referring to masculine, feminine energies.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also we can layer that onto a man and a woman and see the feminine and the masculine and the interplay of that.
Yeah.
That's just my point in terms of beliefs. Like there is this shift happening where the belief system for the alternate female was a flamboyant, like not flamboyant, a goddess type witchy.
How long ago was that?
crystals and things. I mean, it's sort of happening, and some like there's a few interesting Instagram posts that I've seen on it that I've like shared. Like, hey, where do we stand with this? We used to want to be this like sort of girl boss, witchy, like woman powered.
But now that's translated into corporate, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm not like that's a whole nother kettle of fish.
Right.
That's
over there.
sort of a norm. This is more the alternate.
Right, okay.
The alternate female who does things differently, who like, eats healthy food. Healthy food used to be vegan food, don't impact the sentient beings of our earth. Don't, that kind of belief.
You can talk about that if you want.
No, I've done it before. But it's just a thing. It's shifting, and so the beliefs shifting,
that's a collective
and so the
belief.
collective truth is shifting. And I mean, I am not necessarily in the kitchen in my home, but I do like to be, and I just have to shift my priorities a little bit to get more.
Here, I'll do it all. Masculine and feminine.
There he has
say
it.
perfectly balanced. Next topic. Do we do right and wrong?
I'm sure the 65-year-old Therese thinks the same.
That's taken out of context.
Where are we? So, yeah. So I think that's the right and wrong thing because
Well, right and wrong, good and bad, it's like very intertwined.
Yeah, but it's also, I mean, are you thinking we're going to get to a point where we go, yes, there is a universal this or that because you just want to do it all? Okay, should we go to the next point?
No. What did you say?
Are we going to go through all of these and realise it's all nuanced? Is that what we're doing?
Maybe.
Okay, cool. Let's go next.
Okay. What's next?
Being alone versus lonely.
Being alone versus lonely.
So being alone is a factual fact, a truth.
One's like a literal
physical alone.
It's happening.
And then
But lonely is that feeling of I'm alone.
Yes. It's a feeling.
I guess so, yeah. For me, yeah. I don't feel lonely very often. I don't know why you're smiling.
Well, I guess because you're alone a lot.
Yeah, but I don't feel lonely.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because lonely is a feeling.
Yeah. So, but for a lot of people, they associate being alone with being lonely.
Yes.
So,
is that true?
Well, from a physical, this is where it's like a paradoxical answer because it's both. Yes, you are physically alone. You might even be mentally alone. But if we all,
you don't have to be lonely.
We're all interconnected
with
the morphogenic field. That's one way we're all connected. You think of someone, they think of you, boom, there's the mental connection. You feel something for someone, there's the emotional connection. So you can never actually be alone. It's not actually possible. But it also depends on how you measure that. If you're going for a very literal left-brained, well, there's like I could say, when you go, you'll say I'm alone. I've got plants everywhere. They're sentient beings. I don't know why you always laugh at that. Anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm better off alone.
With your
feeling that right now.
Maybe get a cat.
Are they not alive?
They're absolutely alive.
So how can I be alone?
I don't think all right, you're physically alone because you've got no other humans.
So I don't have another human.
You're alone in the human field. But you're not alone. You're not lonely.
Not lonely.
So what's that to do with the belief? Do you think that essentially
it's a belief
the belief is that we're being
I'm so lonely because I'm by myself.
Yeah, but
it's very isolating.
You can be lonely within a crowd.
Exactly. And one of the worst feelings you could have is be in a relationship and feel alone.
Yeah.
That's worse than being actually alone and feeling lonely.
Yeah. I read this thing the other day about this particular thing, and it was saying that there is something about being alone to loneliness, and it was saying that loneliness comes from being anywhere but feeling rejected, unseen, unheard, and unable to express yourself.
So it's essentially being lonely is you not being you.
Mm.
It's got to be a disconnect from
Self.
From you, yeah.
Such a hard experience.
Mm.
I feel like I know that feeling, and it's a really...
Oh, we've all been there.
It's a hard place to find to find yourself when you are so not... For me personally, I'm never alone. There's a boob barnacle close by constantly, and there's two other...
I just understood that
You
reference.
just got it?
Yeah.
There's two other little beings, never far too far.
Yep.
And then one big being, very much. So I'm not often alone.
Yeah.
But I absolutely have felt lonely.
Mm.
So you wanted to dive into the should, could, woulda.
Yes.
So what do you mean in terms of the shoulda, coulda, woulda?
The shoulda, coulda, woulda is, for me, probably one of the most, not useless words, helpless.
Helpless, yeah.
You get no forward momentum with the word should.
Okay, what momentum? What are you doing then? The minute you say should I, or could I, or would I? What's the momentum?
If I ask
what's
you,
that energetics?
if I ask you, should I do this? All I'm going to get is your opinion on it, right?
Yeah.
Or I should say, I really should do, I don't know, wipe the bench, hypothetically.
Mm-hmm.
But then where does that opinion come from? Who says I should? Where did the should come from? Because now I've energetically come up against I've got my beliefs for someone else's ideas of what should or shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I should clean my room, or I should make my bed, or whatever that is. But then, says who?
Your mom.
Cool. Then what?
Yeah, I don't know, because I feel like I make our beds every morning. It's like a ritual. I'll get up. Everyone will be awake, or I'll be getting up at whatever time, and everyone will be out of the beds. And when they do that, I go in and I open the windows and open the blinds and fix their beds. And it's like, I feel like that has to happen.
That's part of your, not belief. No, it's just, I think that's part of your ritual.
Yeah, it's my morning ritual.
Yeah.
I do it every day. And
would you go so far as to say a life hack?
A life hack? I don't know if it's a hack. It's probably more an OCD thing. I would say.
Well, there was a really...
It's much less a hack.
I think it was
perspective. Can I just say that? Because that's perspective. I could see that as a ritual.
Yeah.
And then, or I could see it as a OCD.
Have you ever done that while doing your blinky coffee?
I don't do my blinky coffee when I do my blinky coffee still in bed.
Oh, okay. So you get breakfast
in bed?
Coffee in bed. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm about ready for a blinky coffee, actually.
Well, you have your coffee.
Oh, you can keep going. You don't
No,
stop
I'm
you.
not hypnotised by it. It's really sort of throwing me off.
It's weird that you're twitching like that because as I close my eyes and open them,
because it makes me want to do it. Okay, should I not look at you? What was the question?
Oh, I'm well. So the should I, could I, would I is
Yes.
essentially the truth. Someone else's truth is a semi-disconnect from your own truth, and there's no momentum in that. And I thought about that when you said the bench, and then you said, should I clean the bench? It's a very stagnant energy, isn't it? But we're talking about beliefs, and we're talking about where that's coming from. Is that where you wanted to come from?
So the thing that sparked that in my mind was I was with a patient and they said, should I be more this or should I, all those kinds of questions. And I just replied, does it feel good if you were? Does it feel good if you don't? And there's your answer. So it's not should I, it's I am or I am not. Mm. The should is too cloudy. There's too, it's like the could, the should, the would. That's sheep herd mentality. Because you're going to do things in your day-to-day life because you think you should do them. Mm. Or are you doing them because you want to do them or need to do them.
Yeah, but who knows what that is, because the truth is your own
So
perception.
that comes back to knowing who you are.
Right.
If you know who you are and you dream and you've got that guidance and that direction you want to go, then the shoulds and the coulds and the woulds don't really have much power. They don't have that much hold over you.
Yeah, there's no thought process to them. You don't give them energy.
So it's like I want to look good, but should I do this? It's like that.
Don't like that.
No,
Off it.
it's got to be more affirmative.
Okay.
Because remember, when you speak, you hear it. When you hear it, the cells of your body vibrate at a specific frequency and adjust accordingly in the direction of that thing. That's the order of creation. Thought, word, deed. Go.
Bloody powerful, isn't it? You got to be really conscious of the words that you share, but then also of the thoughts that come through your mind before they come out.
Mm-hmm.
So just stop thinking.
If they're negative thoughts or they don't feel good, they're probably not yours. I'd say they're inherited.
Oh, how
someone
interesting.
Sorry, why keep you awake?
My blinky coffee didn't work in the afternoon.
There's a cookie over there.
Made me really tired. No, it just made me yawn. I was thinking about what you just said. Say it again.
Which part?
Just the last bit.
The bit where you fell asleep. Is that the bit?
I don't know how much I missed.
You just had a kip for the last 20 minutes.
I was listening. I had something to say.
Oh.
And then
Then you woke up. You were sleep talking.
I mean, it could have been. I don't think I was. Could have been. Was that my thought? It wasn't even my thought. I don't even know what's going on. Well, no, you said that that if you are saying
it's a negative. If it's a negative thought,
not necessarily
it's
your
likely inherited.
Inherited, yes. So
I feel that's when you started to wake up.
I know, but what I was going to ask you was that do you have positive self-talk?
Yeah.
Like
all the time.
Oh yeah, like all the time or always?
99% of the time.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But if it's negative talk, it's like a joking.
Hey, Maddie Moo, like, you good? It's okay. Just like I just heard you in your head.
That's what you hear?
Having a conversation like, hey, matey. No?
I don't even know how to respond to that.
No cool, cute jokes going on?
Oh, I tell jokes all the time.
Oh, the luxury of your brain.
Oh, you wouldn't last 5 minutes.
Oh, I can only imagine.
It's brilliant up here.
There's like high fives all around. Everyone's like cheering and like
all the voices.
So we move to my needs come later.
Yes.
In terms of belief.
It's more of I need to take care of everyone else before I can take care of myself.
The martyr.
Martyr would be involved, or martyrdom, if you will. But it's really common around females and some males. It's more, in my experience, it's been more common with females.
Yeah.
Because they need to look after the family unit, then they can think about themselves.
Yeah.
Which I understand where that's coming from. At the same time, you can't give what you don't have.
Yeah. I mean, that's becoming quite cool in many ways. A really popular belief that's being kind of pushed the other direction. So a lot of women are waking up to that.
Right.
And they're not just, for example, in the postpartum, like 5 years ago when I was, or it must have been 6 years ago when I was doing my master's in postpartum care for traditional Chinese medicine, there was no postpartum doula. There was no postpartum person. There was no meal options. There was if you were in a traditional Vietnamese or Chinese group, And because obviously that is traditionally passed down from generation to generation. So a lot of the newer immigrants from these areas and countries, they were wanting that and aware of that care. Whereas, the typical Western woman, all of that traditional understanding of the importance of birth, postpartum, how you look after yourself was not a thing at all. It is still not a super mainstream thing to look after yourself in the postpartum. However, it is definitely now in the kind of alternate realms, like it's unusual not to have a form of meal train or a form of postpartum doula or care supporter, even if it's just one session postpartum. It's unusual not to have some sort of anything that is not just the nurse checkup. So that's a pretty promising move in the right direction, that the wider community is understanding that a mother, especially, her needs are very important. And that she knows that too. It is still difficult to ask for that. I think that's a part of a belief system where we know what we need, we know what we want, but then how do we ask about it? How do we actually get that? Because it's a weird thing to ask someone, hey, when I have this baby, can you come and look after me?
Yeah.
You know, like
Shouldn't be, but
you really need to know what you need and want as well, because it's difficult for people that haven't walked the walk or have any concept of like, why would it, no one did that for me. Like no one, you just get on with it.
Yeah.
It's like, I get that. Like for my grandmother, I've shared this before, like she was in hospital, grandmothers, they're in hospital for 3 to 4 weeks with every baby.
Yeah.
Just like being waited on, essentially looked after. And so, there is a bit of an aspect as a mum, once the baby's a little bit older, that you just get on with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of the mother and being a bit of like in the position where it is quite common for her not to put her first, essentially, and to put others first, because
I think it's also a common symptom of people seeking approval. As well. They're going to try to impress everyone, make them happy to get their own validation, and that's unfortunately
people pleasing.
Yeah, the people please. I'm guilty of it in the past, but it's a really common way to lose yourself within that relationship dynamic.
Yeah, for sure. And then this idea of the people are out to get me.
Ooh, the victim. Yes.
It's an easy slippery slope.
Yeah. I mean, believing everyone's out to get you, there was a song, I think when I was growing up, I probably victimed a bit, so I was quite good at it. But then going through that process and healing that, for me, it was I heard a line in a song that just put the nail in the head, and that was, nobody thinks about you as much as you do.
Yeah.
So I stopped taking things personally. I wasn't the victim. I was only the victim. The victim's a bit of a paradox, because when you're play victim to the world, you're also villainising yourself.
Explain that.
When you play victim out there, when you're playing victim out there, you're villainising yourself, because you don't let anyone in, therefore you don't let yourself out.
Okay.
Sure. That look says, yes, I understand everything you just said.
I'm just thinking of how you're villainising yourself. Like, how are they the villain?
Well, you're holding yourself in. You're holding yourself back. You are your own captor.
That's it. That's what I needed to hear. Oh. You are your own captor.
That.
You are blocking yourself from experiencing the joy of the world by holding
your own
yourself.
Warden. Yes.
Get it? Yeah. And that's where, I guess, from that alternate perspective, we can really feel like the system's out to get us, or the government's out to get us. And I think personally I've shared this before, but that idea has come up a lot with kids, and like I've made different choices, or even with health choices we make still today. It's like I make different choices, and I can sit in that and wallow in that feeling that someone is at me. But actually what the government has given in a sense is shown me how to be more resilient, how to be more savvy, how to actually do what I really, really want to do. And if there was an option for me to do something like to have my children in care in a certain way, it probably wouldn't be what I want, because I want them to be outdoors playing in nature. Yeah. I want them to be taught in a way that really like entices and invites their childhood to be childlike. I don't want them, or in my mind need them to be prepared for the big bad world when they're 3 and 4 and 5, 6 and 7.
Yeah, you don't need to be thinking about that at that age.
No, like I want them to just explore and find who they are and know who they are.
Be a child, be a kid.
Totally.
Yeah. I think, with the government, a lot of people, again, it's that double-edged sword where I think a lot of people have this naive romantic ideology that the government does have their best interests at heart, and maybe to a degree it does. But I think also the government is really corporate headquarters. I used to work with a politician in clinic, and he told me how it really works. Mm-hmm. And the higher up you go, the less influence you have.
Yeah, right.
Because you just become a walking billboard, essentially.
Yeah.
With that said, the government itself reflects the people. So if you're one of those people hating on the government, then what does that say about you? As a collective, not individual.
Yeah.
So the government's really showing us back to us. So we can whinge and bitch all we want. And I think COVID was a great example of that.
Yeah. Would you say, because they're doing what the people accept, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that, would you say then that, like, that there are powers that be that are not really thinking about the greater good in that? Or would you say that it's more...
they're thinking about the greatest paycheck.
Right.
It's about money and control, really.
Yeah. So they're not necessarily out to get you as such. They're just focused on themselves and what their own dreams and desires are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's interesting in terms of a core belief that whether or not the government is here to help you or not, like I can see that they are trying to do something for the masses, but with like...
Yeah, it's like a back-end compliment type thing.
Yeah.
I guess they're building roads and making that all kind of easier for us citizens.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of shady shit that goes on.
Totally.
And I think if we knew what the shady shit was, we wouldn't have a government anymore.
Yeah, and I guess to add to just add to the discussion in that is this: we have this body, this governing body that we have essentially, whether or not we've chosen or not, it exists, and they're doing what they're doing because we're allowing them to do what they're doing.
Yeah, well, the quote from Mark Twain just came to mind. He said, "If voting really did anything, do you think they would let us do it?"
Yeah.
That's just with my tinfoil hat on.
Yeah, I mean, you're really getting into the, like, they're out to get me.
Well, yeah, I mean...
Well, I don't know. I don't think they're necessarily out to get me.
I
think they're just focused on whatever their end goal is, and they're going to do whatever that is to achieve it. And we are sort of, like, we get a bit of a backhanded compliment on the way, sort of thing. But I would, it's an interesting one. It'll be interesting to see. I think that's one of those ideas that, can we look beyond capitalism? Like, that is a really hard thing. Can we look beyond having government? Like, that is a hard thing to conceptualize. That is why in marketing they say if someone has a cafe down the road, open a cafe next door. Because if you're more likely, or if you've got an idea, you're going to do better if there's other people running that same idea. Because then more people will understand it and they will look for that. It's sort of the same with, like, the idea of, like, can we get beyond capitalism? Well, we have to have options and we have to feel empowered. Enough people have to feel empowered to give it a try.
The common belief is that I have no power, but at the same time, there's this. I saw it recently as a quote, but it was essentially, what can I only do? I'm only one person. And then the quote was from 8 billion people. So an army of ants can easily take down a herd of elephants.
How many are in the herd?
Oh, I reckon, I'm going to say 10 to 13.
10 to 13 elephants.
But then there's 90 trillion ants for each elephant. All gnawing and biting at the same time.
Okay.
Yep. So what do you think about what others think?
I can absolutely attest to this being a really hard thing in moments. This is a really hard thing where I can definitely have to grapple with the idea of the belief that I have about being a good girl, about making sure that I don't get in trouble. There's a lot of, like, obviously some potentially, other people's beliefs on myself that I hold, that there is an authority in order. And myself comes through and he's like, no, it's fine. Like, I feel really good here. And then there's an aspect where I'm like, if I have hurt someone or if someone feels hurt, I can consume myself with what their hurt is. And
it's almost like if you shoot them, you want the bullet as well.
Yeah, but...
Strange analogy, but roll with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's an aspect of, like, I may shoot them without realising I'm holding the gun.
Right.
Kind of bit.
Yeah.
It's like am not deliberately shooting people. It's not a common ground for me. But, that idea that, I have accidentally shot you and now I need to feel that too, which I can understand that from, like, accidental manslaughter or something like that. You just actually reminded me of, there was a situation where my mum's from the farm or the country, and there was a kid who was playing with a gun and they actually shot and killed their friend. Like, it's a really devastating experience, and obviously no one, it just so happened for whatever reason, like, it was an accident, it was a true accident, it was nothing malice in it.
Yeah. It was an innocent accident.
An innocent accident.
Yeah.
But then the person who has done that has, like...
They got that on their conscience.
Their conscience is there. That is, that is the thing. And then concerning themselves with how others might perceive that experience. Yeah,
it's a tough one. I think, as the recipient of what others think, like, if I'm caring about what others think, I think that it's me giving my power to them. And if I give my power to them, then I've lost myself. Therefore, what I'm about and what I can bring to the table is diminished to the degree that I've given them my power. But then on the other side of that, which is if I've sent someone a poison arrow in thought form, then it comes back to the intention behind it. And then if you've done or said something from that, is that then, have you generated your own karmic wheel? Thank you for joining us on The Wizard and the Priestess. I look forward to sharing with you soon.
You've been listening to The Wizard and the Priestess. Thanks for stopping by. Stay connected and be open.